Yellowstone is a special place that was born over 650,000 years ago as part of a last major volcanic period, a huge cataclysmic eruption which expelled more than 240 cubic miles of lava, rock, and ash. And this is what formed Yellowstone National Park. Yellowstone National Park is the first and oldest national park in the entire world. Yellowstone National Park is home to Old Faithful Geyser in the Upper Geyser Basin. There are more geysers and hot springs in Yellowstone than anywhere else in the world combined. It has arguably three of the best trout fishing streams in the world. It has one of the most spectacular canyons in the world, the Yellowstone Canyon. It's also one of the last remaining strongholds of the endangered grizzly bear. It truly is a wonderland formed of fire and ice and water and wind. The first European explorers and settlers came to Yellowstone in the early 1800s and were greeted by the Shoshone, the sheep-eater tribe, who subsisted on the sheep, eating sheep and killing sheep in Yellowstone Park. From then on, there was increased exploratory visits to the park until the early 1870s, when it was brought before the Congress, legislators, and the President that the idea that Yellowstone be preserved as the first national park in the world. President Grant, in the 1872 legislative session, set aside Yellowstone to be just that, the first national park in the United States as well as the world. There are 21 affiliated Native American tribes that have spent time in Yellowstone and have added greatly to the cultural resources of the park. There's over 1,000 documented archaeological sites, and there's over 1,100 historic structures in the park. It truly is a wonderland, and its brief history has been preserved greatly through organizations like the Yellowstone Association and the Yellowstone Park Foundation. During those first years that Yellowstone became a park back in the 1800s, visitation was just a mere handful of visitors, and now we see as many as 3 million visitors come to Yellowstone every year to experience its wonders. Yellowstone opens to vehicular traffic usually around mid-April, depending on weather conditions, and it remains open until the early part of November, when the snows come and seal the roads closures for the winter season. During the winter season, which begins shortly before Christmas and lasts until mid-March, access to Yellowstone is limited to over-the-snow vehicles as well as cross-country skis and snowshoes. Springtime certainly is a favorite time to come and view Yellowstone, not only for the baby bison and the baby elk, but also it's a great time to see grizzly bears, a great time to see black bears. Yellowstone truly unfolding from the depths of winter into springtime with the wildflowers and all the beauty of the wonders of Yellowstone. One of the wonders that many people come to see is the largest concentration of elk to be found anywhere in the world. It has over 300 species of birds, over 160 of which breed in Yellowstone Park, including the trumpeter swan and peregrine falcon. Yellowstone is also the only large area in the 48 contiguous states that has never been farmed or fenced. I find that very interesting, and a lot of people do. It has the greatest number of and greater variety of wild animals in their natural habitat than anywhere else in the lower 48 contiguous states, and it's the only place in the world where a wild bison herd has survived since prehistoric times. The wonders of Yellowstone are still being discovered. When many people think of Yellowstone, they don't really think of waterfalls. Most people think of Yosemite National Park in California. However, Yellowstone Park has over 300 waterfalls. It has hundreds of pristine lakes and creeks and mountains and valleys in their original undisturbed condition. And it has one of the highest, largest, and coldest lakes in North America, home to the Yellowstone cutthroat, and of course, cutthroat trout, and that, of course, is Yellowstone Lake, located in the center of Yellowstone National Park. Yellowstone Park is rich with visitor centers and museums. And I think it's very important that visitors check out each one of the visitor centers every year, every chance they get when they're in the park, just to update themselves on current developments in the park. It's also a good idea to make reservations before you get to the park for lodging or even for National Park Service operated campgrounds, of which there are 7 of them. For reservations, you can contact the number shown here on the screen. And again, it's recommended that you do so before visiting Yellowstone, particularly during the season. There are 5 concession-operated campgrounds in Yellowstone. Again, there are 7 National Park Service operated campgrounds. So there's basically 2,200 sites, camping sites in the park. There's 49 picnic areas, there's a marina, there's 9 hotels and lodges with over 2,300 hotel rooms and cabins located throughout Yellowstone. Very convenient. And again, more information on this is located later on. With so many wonders of Yellowstone National Park, many visitors inquire as to where they should start and where they should stop to see the wonders of Yellowstone. With a limited time period here, whether it be 1 day, 3 days, or 6 days, visitors quite often ask us where can they see the high points of Yellowstone. And this is where this DVD is really going to come in handy, because Kathy Cohen is going to narrate the entire DVD and hit on every one of those features in Yellowstone, every one of the pieces of the Wonderland puzzle of Yellowstone that you must see while you're here. And you can actually pick those high point places that you feel you have to see. Believe me, you can live here an entire lifetime and you can't see all of Yellowstone.
Yellowstone National Park's Grand Loop Road is the primary access road through 142 miles of main attractions in the world's first national park. Shaped like a figure 8, the Grand Loop is really 2 loops, the upper loop and the lower loop. Each half of the loop is about 70 miles long. The 2 loops intersect near the Norris Geyser Basin and the canyon area, culminating in the spectacular upper and lower falls of the Yellowstone. A visitor conceivably could drive the Grand Loop in 1 day, but why? Time flows a little differently in Yellowstone than in other places. The natural amazements of the park emerged over millions of years, and it's best to take a few days at least to step away from the harried pace of 21st century life and see the park properly.